It's been a while since we've seen you because we've been getting set up in our new studio and training our first-year students. Today's show features work by our advanced crew, and I'll be introducing a few stories created independently by our first years. We know you've got winter break on your mind, but for now, sit back, relax. Welcome to The Deck.
Where is everybody? Deck crew, assemble!
Most teenagers have pretty basic jobs after school at unexciting places. But for one senior, a lifelong passion for animals has led her to work at a place that millions of people have visited, but only one Decatur High student calls her workplace. The Deck's Mary Adams and Taylor Bond dive into the story.
With over 10 million gallons of water and over 400 species, the Georgia Aquarium is definitely not your average aquarium. But to work here wouldn't be your average job either.
Working at the aquarium isn't just for adults anymore, and senior Ellen Hughes has proven that by landing one of the competitive volunteer spots they have to offer.
As of right now, all I can do is welcome people to the aquarium as a greeter or answer questions about the smaller galleries.
As part of a community of over 1,600 volunteers, Ellen feels right at home when interacting with others who love animals as much as she does.
I get the feeling that everyone there really genuinely cares about animals, and it's not just like superficial, like, oh, animals are so cute.
We want our animals to be around the people they're familiar with. This is for their health and their benefit and their safety.
Although she loves the aquarium's nurturing environment, Ellen's passion for working with animals didn't start here. It began when Ellen's best friend Chloe Moore invited her to Busch Gardens Zoo Camp when they were in 5th grade.
We've been friends since the beginning of time. It was her idea to go to zoo camp in the first place in 5th grade.
We actually started working with animals at Zookeeping 101. You get assigned to a different area every day.
When she went to Busch Gardens camp, she really fell in love with the big animals, the elephants in particular.
I'm in love with Busch Gardens because of the way they treat the animals. It's totally positive reinforcement there. At a lot of other zoos, they have to like chain up animals and stuff, especially elephants. Busch Gardens is one of the only places that doesn't do that at all.
The Georgia Aquarium emphasizes the same policy of rewarding, not scolding, their animals.
Whenever the animal's doing something good, you reward them. When they're not, you ignore it. You don't reward it at all, and you don't give it any attention.
The Hughes family even started to apply this system of positive reinforcement when Ellen's brother John convinced their parents to get his idea of the perfect backyard pets.
We got chickens because they're cool and legal.
Chickens are just not normal animals.
I was supposed to feed her chickens when she was out of town one weekend, but they seemed pretty pecky, and so my dad did it instead of me.
From Busch Gardens to chickens and the Georgia Aquarium, it's all been part of Ellen's journey to become an animal psychologist one day.
She talks about that all the time.
Ellen's taking AP psychology right now, and it's very interesting. It's giving her a lot of insight into these animals that she's been working with.
You can train them to do certain things, like give them food if they do a trick or something, but they're gonna approach that different ways, you know.
For The Deck, I'm Mary Adams.
As students sit in the bleachers watching their varsity and JV players improve their skills, most don't know that two teachers we see every day are improving their game and their friendship. The Deck's Carson Greer and Connor Allison report.
The Decatur First United Methodist Church is a place for prayer and peace. But on Monday night, something different happens, say with a little more sweat involved. small number of Decatur residents get together and play games for pickup basketball. Included in this select group are 2 Decatur teachers. Wes Hatfield, the IB and AP coordinator at DHS, has been playing ever since he graduated from college.
When I got out of grad school, a buddy of mine that I actually went to Decatur High School with said that he was playing basketball with a bunch of guys on Monday nights and asked if I wanted to come down and play. And I guess that was 7.5 years ago, and I've been playing here ever since.
Cuando se conjuga.
For Carlos Cardoza, playing has helped him feel more back at home. He graduated from DHS in 2005 and went on to graduate from college, and is now teaching Spanish.
It's made me feel more at home since I kind of grew up around here. My family's in Dallas now, so just having a place to come Monday nights and play with some of the faces you see around town, it's a good feeling. Fun, definitely a lot of fun.
Sometimes it can get rough. Hatfield says he's seen people come and go, all because of injuries.
When you're playing with adults, people get older. When you're 15 years old, it's a lot easier to get ready to play basketball. Sometimes it's the walking wounded. Everybody comes in with their various braces and things. It looks like some kind of sci-fi RoboCop thing going on because everybody's getting older. Not me, though. I never age.
Cardoza has had his fair share of injuries, too, and has been through rehab for many of them.
I tore when I was 19. I tore my ACL, my PCL, and my MCL, which is the front, side, and back ligaments of your knee.
I would say playing here has definitely improved my working relationships with the guys that have played here in the past. I've gotten to know Mr. Cardoza almost entirely by playing basketball with him. Not to say we haven't spoken during the day, and we've certainly had meetings during the day, but most of our interactions happen here.
Despite which team wins or loses, it's always a win for Hatfield and Cardoza, whose relationship has been greatly strengthened through social activity. For The Deck, I'm Connor Allison.
Our first-year crew produced more stories than we can fit on this show, so we're sharing them with you on 310.org. Here are the stories we'll post soon.
Athletics are important to many students, but what happens when you're forced to sit out a whole season? The Deck's Madison Van Buren takes a look at season-ending injuries.
For centuries, the art of belly dance has been a popular part of Middle Eastern culture. The Deck's Emily Kinzer follows one Decatur student who's bringing this dance form into her world.
Out of sight, out of mind. That's the attitude most people have about the recent fighting in Libya. The Deck's Abby Olson finds out why, for some here in Decatur, the conflict is very close to home.
Occupy protests have popped up all over the country over the past few months. The Deck's Connor Mack introduces us to Atlanta's protesters.
Too many of us know the feeling of reaching into our pockets and realizing something's missing. The Deck's Janelle Seals and Jane Ann Amon look into the school's theft trend.
David Custer loves teaching math. And when the last bell rings, he loves to hit the mats too. The Deck's Taylor Vaughn and Max Waterhouse reports the story of Decatur's new wrestling coach.
Living in a nice community certainly has its perks, but one Decatur parent discovered something when she was young that she'll never forget. The Deck's Diamond Perrin and Jason Moody share her unusual story.
Decatur fields a variety of sport teams, but none like the latest addition. The Deck's Nick Huber reports on Decatur's new ultimate frisbee scene.
America's Next Top Model is a show that takes 14 average girls and turns one into a supermodel. For one of Decatur's students, modeling isn't just something you see on TV, it's her life.
I've worked in Atlanta, LA, Savannah, New York, Tokyo, Mount Fuji, and other various spots in Japan. I've been a model for about 3.5 years. I do mostly high fashion work for magazine spreads, and then I also do a little bit of commercial work, which is like smiley ads for catalogs.
Although Madeline has worked all over the world, it all started right here in Atlanta.
I was scouted when I was 14 years old. I was shopping at H&M at Atlantic Station with Colleen Surratt and Chelsea Foster. And then this one lady came up to me and she gave me one of her cards, and I brought it to my mom. And she called the agency and they asked for me to meet them. So I was super nervous, and we went in and they took some Polaroids of me, and I was like posing. I did not know what the heck I was doing. And then they asked me to sign with them, and they gave me a contract, and that's how it all started.
Not only has Madeline done commercial ads, she has also appeared in actual commercials.
We went on this one. It was for this company called Warcall, which is like a big bra company, I guess, in America, and they're doing an ad campaign for their new loungewear line. I had never acted a day in my life except from drama class with Miss Hosking, so I really did not know what I was doing whatsoever. And we show up at the shoot, and it's at this like fake house, and on the inside it had like a living room, like a kitchen, a bedroom, and it was me and another model, and we shot in various parts of the house, and we pretended like we were talking to each other about like being happy, and we were like, oh my god, these clothes are so nice, and we like touched our arms and stuff. It was really ridiculous. And then they pretended like I was typing on a computer, like really interested in the computer. I was like, oh yes, this is so interesting. It was very funny.
Madeline's career as a model has propelled her over the years, but now her agency thinks she should move into a new phase: plus size.
I remember one time my agent told me that she was like, honey, you might be skinny in school, but in modeling you're kind of big.
HealthStatus.com says the ideal healthy weight for a 5'11" 11-inch female is 170 pounds. Madeline is only 145 pounds, but her agency wants her to be 120 pounds.
Well, in the near future, I'm applying to college. My dream school is Barnard in New York, and I really want to major in sociology. I kind of also like want to do other weird things, like I want to work for ESPN and be like a sideline reporter. And then I also like want to work for Google and do like their communication stuff.
For The Deck, I'm Molly Emma O'Neill.
Madeline let us put some of her portfolio pictures on 310.org. Check them out if you want to see some of the crazy stuff she had to wear.
Speaking of models, we've been talking to two siblings who have recently become big role models in their family. Role models to two twin baby girls. Aww. Our crew went in to see how these tiny figures have impacted the high schoolers' lives.
Senior Jake Rogers may look like your average high schooler, but a recent addition to his family may make him a little more out of the ordinary.
I was pretty excited about having a new sibling, and then we were told it was twins, which made it even more exciting because it was just like, now we get two for the price of one.
It's not every day that a 17-year-old comes home to baby twin sisters. For Rogers, it's only been about 3 months.
At first I was like, it's going to be crazy, but then I realized I'd rather them be two because I've always grown up with a little brother. So it's really nice to have like another sibling in the house with you so you can both bond over how crazy your parents are.
But this exciting period is also a challenging one for Jake's mom, Julie Smith, who has taken time off work to care for the babies.
It's hard as a parent to now split your time amongst 4 kids when you only had 2 before, but they've been really understanding.
Some of this load is lifted through her son's help.
I think Jake does a lot more work than I do. Kind of just give the baby to him most of the time.
We enjoy taking on some things, like when they start to cry, we'll like feed them and stuff because we know mom's been dealing with it all day. And I mean, it's kind of nice. Like the other day, me and Audrey took a little nap on the couch, and so I mean, it's just like little things around here.
But right now, Rogers is working on college applications and has a bigger problem to worry about: his future.
I really do have to make sure I get scholarships and whatnot because payment's going to be even harder now. I mean, babies aren't cheap. They really just aren't. There's a lot of stuff we have to pay for now, and I'm just going to work harder to make sure it's easier for my parents.
It makes me so sad that Jake's going to college next year, but I think it's great. I know people need to do it, but I really can't imagine not having Jake here all the time.
Even though the twins may be the cause of some financial discomfort, Rogers hates the thought of leaving them behind.
Kind of sucks because I'm not going to be able to see him all the time. But I mean, I had planned on going to college somewhere close by. So I knew that I would always be close enough where I can drop in frequently enough so that I can still see them.
He doesn't have to be here all the time to have a good relationship with his sisters. There's time for that.
I want them to know who I am and be still kind of in their life.
A defining moment in Rogers' life that the twins will grow to learn about is his kindergarten year when his parents divorced.
My dad remarried in 2002 and my mom got married in 2009.
Legally, Audrey and Edie are Rogers' half-sisters, but he views them differently from his other half-siblings.
Whenever I talk about my dad's kids, they're always, it's my half-sister and my half-brother. There's a lot more connection between me and my sisters. That's a difference. I don't call them my half-sisters. I really feel like they are my sisters because I'm able to take part in their raising.
And because of this, Rogers has set ideas on how to be a good big brother.
We always joke around about being the protective older brother. By the time they're 14, we'll be out of college, so when they first bring their boy home, we'll be sitting on the couch and our boxer's cleaning a gun and being like, oh, hello. just to be really, really embarrassing, just because we could have that opportunity to do it.
For The Deck, I'm Faith Ha.
Jake's a little scared for the girls' safety when they grow up, especially if they're anything like senior Kira Minviel, who enjoys the thrill of danger.
That's right. For most high school students, having a car is a privilege. But Minviel has an even greater ride, one much more rare and exotic. She has a motorcycle, and it's not just any motorcycle, it's a Ducati. Motorcycles evoke excitement and emotions in almost everybody. Whether it's the thrill of danger that adrenaline junkies thrive on, the utmost fear a mother may have for a daughter or son that rides one, or just their sex appeal. Even Decatur's own principal, Lori McCain, has been drawn to the allure of motorcycles. But it's not every day that you see a girl like Kira Minviel on a motorcycle like this.
This is my 2004 Ducati Multistrada 1000 DS. It's my baby. I got this one just a few months ago. I wanted to find something that I was more excited about. I would be lying if I said I didn't like the sound it made when it turned on. I love that. It's a great part of it. The bike can definitely turn heads.
Kira's love for motorcycles goes beyond just this extraordinary superbike. For her, it's about much more than just the motorcycle itself.
Throughout my childhood, my father has always talked about motorcycles. His excitement about it has been really infectious, and it's been something that I've picked up over the years. Motorcycle riding has been a really good bonding experience for my father and I, and in a lot of ways, it's brought us closer together.
But unfortunately, Kira won't be able to ride her Ducati for the time being.
Recently, there was a recall for my Ducati because there are problems with the gas tank, and so I have been riding my CRF Honda to school and around the area, and it still gets me from place to place.
As long as Kira's still able to ride, though, she's happy.
My favorite thing about riding is that it is a sensory experience. It's something, most people don't go on car rides for fun, but riding a motorcycle is definitely an enjoyable, usually relaxing experience. You feel the wind on your coat, on your clothes, but the best part is the smells as you drive by. You drive by restaurants and you smell them. You can drive by gas stations and smell them, and so you can smell the air. You're able to fully appreciate that, as opposed to in a car where, although you can put down your window, it's not the same experience. The freedom of two wheels is very different than the freedom of four. I've always really appreciated that. I will definitely ride motorcycles for a long time in the future.
For The Deck, I'm Britt Pendergrast. If you're thinking you may prefer two wheels over four, or check out the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, where Minviel completed her training and certification. You can find them online and sign up for courses in various locations around Metro Atlanta.
Rules may not be important to us, but to some, it is crucial to follow procedures, especially when picking up a hammer and nails. One homeschooler and aspiring engineer has taken his building projects to the next level. Colin Graver is a homeschooled freshman living in Avondale Estates. Using his modified basement as a workshop, Colin, his family, and his friends have done everything from forged swords to constructing tree houses.
Well, it may look cluttered, but I know exactly where everything is, mainly because I remember where I set stuff.
Colin has invented and built countless items, but by far his greatest work is the clubhouse.
I suppose my first big project that I used a lot of power tools and stuff on was the clubhouse. I wanted a big project to do. I wanted something that I could work on and continue to modify and have fun with, and I suppose the clubhouse fit the bill.
Colin's father, who is a professional engineer, has taught Colin a lot of what he knows.
It's fun as a parent to share activities with your children. I think the thing that was really a transition in his confidence in building things was on his 10th birthday. Before that time, he would help me on projects, and I taught him the basics on using some of the power tools and things. But he had this vision that he wanted to build a clubhouse, and he wanted to do it with a certain number of his friends. and he wanted that to be his birthday present.
The clubhouse is a 24-foot structure. It has 4 stories. It's mainly built out of plywood and 2x4s. It took me maybe 4 or 5 days, working 12 hours to build it.
That was a project where he really took it through every step. He did the design, he did the takeoffs, which is looking at the design and figuring out how many 2x4s, how many sheets of plywood, how many nails and screws and whatever else are needed to finish the job. For the first time, I really stood back from the project and let him do most of the work. That's an understatement. He did really. He and his friends did 95% of the work. They built that thing.
I also had a couple of friends help me, Windsor and Schaefer Jones, and Dad helped raise the walls, mainly just because I built this when I was 10 and wasn't really strong enough to lift 12-foot walls.
I have helped Colin on a lot of projects, but more so recently he's helped me. I really go to him for advice about how much you put this together, and often where I would always assume that my ideas would be superior, that's not the case anymore. He's got great ideas, and often I think about doing things in a different way.
Well, really, it's not very useful. It's just fun.
It's fun because he challenges my thinking, and together we're learning a lot. It's a good time.
For the deck, I'm Henry Shunk. Colin and his friends are already working to compete in an international engineering competition taking place later this year.
But talent doesn't only come in the form of wooden structures. Our school has seen its fair share of athletes come and go, some playing for college and even some going on to play professionally. Just like the stars of the past, current Decatur basketball star Kurt Robinson has his eyes set on the pros.
I realized that when I was playing rec league, 4 or 5 years old, down at Epps Gym, playing with some of the people that play on my team.
He was 5. I put him in rec basketball since he was 5 years old. Yes, and his ears and everything else.
I don't plan to try to go to no NBA or nothing, but if it happens, it happens.
This year could go either way. I can either do good, get recruited, and play on the college level, or I can do bad and stay in Decatur. To accomplish this dream, I need help from my team and the community. I'm ready for a big year, and the big year starts with the first impression.
When I'm getting ready for the game, I try to envision plays in my head that I need to make for the team to win. I really just let the game flow, try to get my team involved since I'm the point guard,
I think that they're a talented group. I think they have all the ingredients to be a very good team, the ingredients to fight for a state tournament berth, and then if they can come together, see what happens from there. When you look for leadership, you look for a guy that is low maintenance, a guy that is always on time, a guy that's always working the hardest. It's not a guy you have to motivate. It's not a guy you have to coach effort to. They just give that because that's who they are. They live by example, and that makes a great leader on a basketball team.
Keep my head in the game, I stay focused, try not to let nobody or the referees get me out of my game.
Well, it's exciting, and it make me come out my seat, about to have a heart attack, because I be thinking he's gonna get hurt. He wanna hoop real hard and please everybody, and and it be too intense for me, but I enjoy it.
I don't know where basketball is going to take me, but I hope it's where I want to go. Thank you for being part of my journey. For the deck, I'm Curtis Robinson.
We're posting even more stories to 310.org over the next few weeks. Here's what you'll see online.
There are 5 frozen yogurt shops in downtown Decatur alone. The Deck's Anna Downing and Brooke Pearson visited the 2 newest ones that just happened to be right across the street from each other.
From Brazil to Decatur, this new student has been all over. But what she likes about Decatur is something most of us locals have never heard of. The Deck's Jordan Dillard, Greg Thomas, and Quinn Von Haney went to the studio to bring us this story.
For a few years, students have enjoyed using their iPods during the school day, but administrators met over the summer and changed that policy. The Deck's Summer O'Neill and Anu Kai Morton investigate the controversial decision.
That wraps up this show, but we'll hope you'll head to 310.org and see all the stories we've been working on. We'll see you next time on The Deck.